All right, another type of cell, which is kind of similar to a phagocyte, it just does its thing differently. But there's another type of cell within the innate immune system that we call the natural killer cell. Killer cells, so NK cells. And NK cells are a type of lymphocyte. Lymphocyte. About 2% of lymphocytes are natural killer cells. So they look like natural killer, or they look like lymphocytes. All right, like that, but they're not like regular lymphocytes. So lymphocytes check you, check your cells. So they check you for things that are not you. And they look for certain cells that don't have special markers. So they look for cells that don't have a special marker called an MHC1 markers on their plasma membrane. Because lymphocytes or some lymphocytes, and this is natural killer cells is one of them, basically handles intracellular pathogens. And some intracellular pathogens can remove these markers so that it looks like they're not there. Okay, so natural killer cells have that special, or do that thing that looks for basically things on the cell that makes it not you, and the lack of those little markers on there. Okay, so if this is your little cell here, this is you, this is your cell, and there are markers that, like all cellular, or all cells have markers on them all over their plasma membrane. Okay, we saw that when we did the blood typing. The markers were A, B, that type of thing. So this MHC1 thing is kind of like a platform to show things, okay, for the cell. And it's kind of like a Facebook. So if you have Facebook, you post things about your life or whatever on your Facebook page. And so you might eat a big, great, piece of cake or whatever, and you want to show that on your Facebook page. Oh, I had this great piece of chocolate cake. There it is. Want everyone to know about it. Okay, no big deal. It's it's a posting that's fine. It's not offensive or anything like that. So the natural killer cells, they monitor the Facebook page. So they're monitoring for things that are yucky and looking to make sure that those MHC1 markers are there. Okay. So sometimes, though, we might get something inside of us that, whatever. We don't know what it is or whatever. So we post it on here. And let's say we get a virus. So I'm going to post the virus on my little marker here. And the natural killer cell goes around and she's looking at things and he sees, uh-oh, here's this crazy, weird, not you, bad posting on your membrane. So the natural killer cell comes over and, sorry, I need to put that there. So comes over and checks it and says, this is not you. This is not part of you. This is something bad. And so the natural killer cell sends a bunch of chemicals here that cause something to happen. And what it causes is for the cell to commit suicide. That's called apoptosis. Okay. So this cell with this awful, crazy, yucky virus in it, it has to basically, the natural killer cell tells them to, take one for the team. You're going to have to kill yourself, because if you don't, this is what happens. Mr. Virus takes over the genetic material of the cell and starts replicating itself, making copies, until there's so many copies in the cell that the cell explodes and lets out all these nasty viruses into the body so that they can affect other cells. So this cell has to die. Okay, so that's what natural killer cells do. All right. So the next video, I'm going to talk about these MHC markers here. You need to understand what this is, and you can refer back to this to be able to kind of relate what it is, and this will make a little bit better sense when you're looking this after I explain exactly what that is. So we'll do that next.